Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
World records are being set and broken all the time, and New Mexico definitely has its fair share. The world's largest balloon rally, the longest tram ride, the deepest cave, a governor that holds the world record for handshakes in 8 hours, and even the world's distance record for pasta being blown out of someone's nose.
So we'll be up here for 24 hours, basically, staying up, cooking, and keeping it going.
What keeps you going?
Bud Light.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today acquired a film and TV bachelor's degree from San Jose State University and then quickly bolted back overseas to live in places such as Italy, France, and Africa, finding work as a TV segment director and cameraman. This was the beginning of a fantastic training and exposure, which made him the top professional that he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actor, producer, director, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Vasconcellos. Greetings, Mark, and welcome back again to The Actor's Choice.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Quite a few many places you've been. So where you been born? Where were you born at?
Oh, I was born in good old Fremont, California. Bay Area boy.
Well, we got just a few moments, but a lot to talk about. So what made you get into this business?
Wow. Well, it was kind of weird because when I went to college, I kind of knew that I already wanted to be in television and film one way or another. When I started at school, I was basically tech side, so I was behind the camera and I worked with other filmmakers and directors and I was the shooter and had a lot of fun doing that. And then I went to LA to work on a movie with Shirley Jones and Len Cariou and Nancy Malone and all these really cool people. And someone on set say, have you ever been in front of the camera? And I was like, no, I'm a cameraman. I'm going to be a director, this and that. And she goes, I have friends over in Italy who may want to work with you if you want to be a model. And I was like, what? And so they sent my pictures over, and the modeling agency said, yes, send them over. I thought I was going to stay in Europe 1 month. I ended up staying 3 years.
Wow.
Which was kind of crazy and fun. And when I wasn't doing the modeling gig, I found a production company that actually needed a cameraman and a director. So that's how I really got into directing, editing, and doing all that stuff. So I spent 3 years traveling the world, doing great things for them. And we just had a blast.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we told you he was a professional, a top professional at that. What are some of the roles now that you're in the business and been in it for a number of years? What are the kind of roles that you look for?
Oh, the roles I really love to play now are the antagonist, the bad guy, the troublemaker. I'm a middle child, so I'm kind of a troublemaker myself. But those are the real fun characters to play or portray because they're really deeply flawed. And, the more screwed up you are, the tougher it is, but the better the challenge. And that's what I like. So you really got to envelop this character and develop and just embody the character. So it's kind of fun playing the bad guy.
Okay. Your first opportunity with IMDb came in the year 1991, Beverly Hills 90210, the TV series. Remember that?
Oh my God, you just dated me, man. Yeah, it was funny because, like I said, my friend Nancy Malone, who was one of the first female directors, she was directing 90210. She was directing a bunch of stuff, and she really liked me, and so she saw that I had something to offer. So she actually got me on some shows. And granted, I started off as an extra, like most of us do, but I remember the reason why I got my SAG card is because I was Taft-Hartley. I was on a soap opera with Susan Lucci, and she turned and had some interaction with me, but I wasn't scripted to say anything. So I'm just standing there looking like an idiot. And the director says, "Come on, give this guy some lines. This scene is terrible. Let him speak." So, she gave me an under 5 line, and that was my gateway into being a SAG actor. So it was kind of cool.
Say, as I went down over your books, you started way back then, and you're doing everything well. Back in 1992, The Trails of Rosie, Cutthroat Island, The Bold and the Beautiful, Dead of Night, A River, Cassandra. And I see you got 3 shows coming up. Arto.
Yeah, right now we have a kind of a psychodrama called Arto, which is in the film festival market. It's a short, well, it's about 30 minutes. It's kind of a long short. But it's out there. And then we have, 3 other scripts that we're developing and finishing up. Village was a fantastic psycho thriller. And we were at Cannes, and we sold that over there while we were there. And so we're trying to follow up with Village 2 and maybe go shoot it in Morocco. I'm pushing a script right now called Precious Cargo, which is really a poignant, heartfelt border drama. And it's a story that needs to be told. So I'm hoping we can maybe shoot that in the next year or so, which would be a lot of fun to do.
Okay. Precious Cargo looks familiar.
Precious Cargo. It's a really good script. One of my students actually wrote it several years back, and I really believe in the script. And it deals with border relations, friendship, loss, empathy, compassion. A lot of those things that are kind of missing in today's world, but are still there. So we want to bring that good stuff up to the surface again and show that, human beings can treat each other with dignity and respect and work together and help each other. There's no reason for fighting. It's a good story. And I think it really needs to be told.
Yes. And you do get it told, because sound department, you got 10 admirals there, a camera and an electrical department, 9 parts there.
Yeah, you could say I've done almost every job on the set, which is pretty much true. When I was living in LA around 2000s, I was a boom operator for 5 years. And so I did some really cool shows. And then they got to the point where it's like, "Mark, you got to join the union." And I'm like, "But I really want to do acting." You got to pay the bills and survive while you're trying to get those acting gigs. And so you do whatever it takes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to join the sound union. It's not where my passion is. I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, so I'm just going to kind of keep pursuing that. And yeah, sometimes you don't get the big time. It takes time to get there. But the thing is persistence. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it, because if you love it, it's not work. You just love it. It's your passion. So we keep trying and we keep doing it. And we've been kind of consistent. COVID screwed up a lot of people, and the strikes have screwed up a lot of people. So it's kind of getting the gearing back up again. But I love doing the indie films too, and working with my friends and family. And we have a good time doing that kind of stuff too.
It shows. It really shows, Mark. It really does. Over the years, we've seen changes in technology. One of the, as you know, about AI, artificial intelligence. What's your thought about that?
It's a double-edged sword. It really is. I think anywhere in the arts, people are going to suffer because of AI. People are going to lose jobs. Quality is going to be different. It's great. We're going to progress technologically anyway, but there has to be some restrictions on it to protect actors, to protect creators. You can feed a couple words into a computer now and it'll spit something out, which is AI generated. And you can still tell it lacks a human element. It'll get there, but still we need to keep the actors. Still need to keep the creative people, the artists, all that stuff we need to keep, because those are people's jobs. Those are people's livelihoods, and we need to protect that. That's the reason why we're having these strikes now with all the unions. They want some guarantees that AI isn't going to wipe us out. I mean, you could be recording this and take my image later and my words and my actions and my mannerisms, and you can duplicate it through AI. But did I give you permission to do it? Did I get paid for you to do that? Those are the protections that have to stay in place and keep a certain integrity inside the business. Yeah, our business is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but you have to protect those people in it who have to make a living doing certain things. And it's just common sense, and it's decency, and that's all that was happening during those SAG strikes and the writer strikes, and now it's the Teamster strikes. I'm not saying that AI is going to drive a bus or a truck, but heck, you never know. These robots are getting pretty cool.
Oh, that's good. That is so good, because again, you say to yourself, when will this end? Let's get the job done. That's what really it's all about.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, you don't want to be a sellout either. A lot of these corporations are just being sellouts. They want the bottom line, so they're going to do whatever they can to cut costs, and sometimes that means cutting people's jobs and not being nice to the people that have created this industry. They're riding on the coattails of a lot of people's talents. Let's be fair about this. Let's pay people what they're worth. Give them an honest wage and give them some protections that they'll have a job 10 years down the road from now.
Speak very well, very well. You also talk about something called podcast called Humanities. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, a director and writer friend of mine, Hafid Abdelmoula. He's a great guy from Morocco, and he lives here in southern New Mexico. And we have this podcast called Humanity. So we sit there and brew some tea from anywhere and around the world. We get teas from all over the place, and we talk about life. And we try to keep it in a fun, positive perspective. But, lots of times things can get heavy. And it's been neat. And we're going to gear up again, because we like to do it during the winter months when we can be cozy warm in the studio. We cover a vast array of topics. I think this next season we're going to get have a little more fun, get a little crazy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So what are you doing now? What else are you doing these days?
Oh, wow. Always fighting for more film industry in New Mexico, and especially in Las Cruces, which is southern New Mexico, the borderlands. Technically, we don't have film studio infrastructure in place, but 3 are in the works. One of the local colleges just put up a sound stage, and that's always a good draw. Granted, they can only rent the facility out a couple months or 3 months out of the year, just because of the bureaucratic red tape and education and taxpayer dollars. But there is a company that's moved in here from California, and they've promised to build several sound stages. So that's hopefully in the works. And that'll bring more movies to us. We're on the map. We're on Hollywood's radar. We've had Bruce Willis here shooting a movie. We've had Mel Gibson twice. We've had Dolph Lundgren, Ving Rhames. So, we're getting some good work. And it's basically economic development for southern New Mexico, which has been lacking for so long. So that's always a fight.
We got a video that we'd like to show for you and for the folks. It's called Celebrating Love and Equality, an podcast moment. I stumbled upon that one 4 weeks ago. You put this together. Roll it, Tony.
We just want to clarify, and we adore women.
I love women.
I
love my wife. I love my mom. I love my daughters. I love them all, baby. I love them all.
Equality. That's what we're talking about. Peace out. Live and let live. Live and let live. Live and let live. Live
Man
and let
and Woman
live.
Day every day.
Yeah, why not? Exactly.
Man.
Yeah. That was nice.
That's a good little teaser for our podcast,
Yes.
Like I said, we have a variety of topics, and we have people sit in every now and then, and it's always good to have different people's perspective on things, But most of the time, it's just me and Hafid, or myself and Hafid, and we cover topics, you name it, we'll talk about it.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this young man he is now in an area of this world that that's how I bumped into him. It's in New Mexico. There's actors, writers, film persons. Tell us about it. Not in Hollywood. They're out there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, New Mexico's always been very pro film. It was actually one of the first states that created the tax incentives for filmmakers. So New Mexico always has a great film incentive, which is, the golden carrot in front of the horse. Everybody wants films to come shoot in their state and sometimes in their towns or their villages or their cities, because film, puts money in everybody's pocket. They need everything when they're shooting a movie. Yeah, sometimes it can be a pain in the butt, but everybody loves it. Everybody's saying, wow, I got to be in a movie, or I got to be part of this and part of that. So it's a huge economic driver in the state, and New Mexico has done really well with it. So the overall goal is to spread film production all over the state, not just in Albuquerque or Santa Fe. So I think in Las Cruces, if you're a filmmaker, you can get up to 40% tax incentive. So if you spend $1, you get 40 cents of that back, and that adds up. And there's no spend limit. So when I shot the movie River, when I made that movie, I produced it, I got a lot of money back. Well, our budget was really small, but I still got money back, which went to music, post-production, things like that. And so the film incentive, or the tax incentive, is really great at helping independent filmmakers get their movie made cost effective, and they can do a lot more stuff with the money they get back. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So it's been good.
I can't thank you enough for talking about the good folks in New Mexico. Please stay in touch and continued success.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Vasconcellos. This is the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Domestic violence, what is it? The pastor said that's when the amygdala, that's when it lights up. They must not be too bright. People, they just lose their temperature, and then they don't tell jokes to bring the temperature down. Why don't they just leave? Domestic violence is not an anger or an amygdala problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is the best-selling author, acclaimed actor, advocate, playwright, musician, and comedian. She's also an award-winning filmmaker that she learned, and we'll be talking about that. She does a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get busy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lorinda Hawkins Smith. Greetings, Lorinda.
Yay.
And welcome to Actor's Choice.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Wouldn't have it no other way. No other way. So immediately I'll get right to it. Tell us where you were born.
I was born in the foothills of Altadena. Actually, I was raised in the foothills of Altadena. I was actually born in Huntington Memorial, which is in Pasadena. So I claim both Denas. So I'm a Dena Dane.
Right on. It's a beautiful part of this country is Altadena. I've been up there several times. It's very nice out there.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I always ask the question about when I go traveling, I get a chance to meet people again. When I say, where were you born in? Oh, that's why I asked that. So,
Thank you.
So again, living there, what was it like living in Altadena?
Oh, it was very quiet. And yeah, it was kind of like the suburbs. Like our closest mailbox was like down the street. And our closest neighbor was divided by a vacant lot that also belonged to us. So it was just really nice, hearing the coyotes in the background and just a lot of wildlife, a lot of trails. Yeah, I liked it.
Wow. Lorinda, you've covered a lot of work over the years, my dear. What made you get into all the numerous justices in other areas that you do?
Life. Yeah, I felt like my mother, God rest her soul, was a teacher. And I would help her set up her rooms. And I always thought I would follow in her footsteps as a teacher. But she would kind of low key discourage me from doing it because of all the bureaucratic stuff she would run into. So instead, I went along my dream path, which was acting. But my first real acting gig was in the early 90s, and it had to do with educational theater. And that paid the bills, and we toured, and I was doing the things that I felt like I was called to do, which was teach and act and feel like I was helping. I didn't know until now when I look back that that was just the beginning of doing kind of social justice theater, because the theater we would be doing was to raise awareness about hunger in schools. It was about raising awareness about AIDS, and then sexually transmitted diseases, and also just the issues that kids were dealing with in school, just bullying, drugs, smoking, anyway. But I just felt like the best way to get messages across was through the arts. So that kind of stuck with me.
Wow, you take on quite a those are some hard stuff to take on. Wow. I'm sure you get support from your family and friends for the many items that you do.
You said I get support from
your family and friends for the many items that you do.
Well, I'm an only child, so I don't really have that much family around. But I don't really. I would say friends, and friends, and maybe chosen family, because my family, like I said, I'm an only child, so I wouldn't say I get a lot of support from my family.
I understand that you worked in social justice theater for over 2 decades.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
And was recognized by the California Legislature Assembly. Wow.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Like I was saying, it started out, doing plays in schools and what have you. But then later in life, unfortunately, I survived, but I'm a domestic violence survivor. And this is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I really, really felt called to do theater that brings awareness after that happened to me in my life. So with Cornerstone Theater Company, we did a play regarding urban farming, and that was when I first really learned about MGOs. Is it MGOs? GMOs. GMOs and genetically modified organisms in your food and stuff. Anyway, so through various theater companies doing social justice causes, we were able to get recognized. The other one was with Watts Theater Village, and we did basically a lot of scenes to bring awareness to police violence. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Technology, seeing changes that you've over the years. For example, how do you feel about AI, artificial intelligence?
How do I feel about it?
Yes.
How do I feel about AI? Well, I'm part of a union that we had a strike because of it. Right. AI in acting, it can be problematic because there's a temptation to want to replace actors with AI. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with AI. I feel like there's a lot of good that can be used with technology, but then on the other side, it can put a lot of us out of business. even writers, because I'm a writer as well. So now you can ask AI to write you a script, write your jokes. So,
Yes.
but yeah. So
Got a couple of photos that we'd like to let people see that you've been involved in. Can you go to 35 for me? There you go. There is an episode 58. Can I thrive on homeliness?
say that again.
Okay, right now we're showing a video there. We can actually, not video, we're showing photo. You see,
Okay.
it says, can you thrive on homelessness? Can you see that?
No, I can't see anything.
Oh, okay, all right,
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's you, and it says Lorinda Hawkins Smith, episode 58, and it's a picture of you.
Okay. It sounds like that might have been from a podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Podcast that I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Thriving from homelessness. Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Because one of the major side effects of surviving domestic violence is homelessness. A lot of women, I don't know men so much, but I know a lot of women who are fleeing domestic violence and they are taking their children, and because they don't have a lot of family around, they end up having to be homeless. So that was my story. And I was in a shelter in Skid Row and actually got my MBA, transitioning from being houseless to housed by the grace of God. By the grace of God.
By the way, are you going to get that other piece of work that you talked about? You said you got a master's. What's next? PhD?
I'm kind of busy doing a lot of other things, so
Okay.
that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I need to finish my third book and finish this play that I'm in, Trouble in Minds. This liar. Yeah. So not thinking about PhD right now so much, but yeah, that might be down the line.
Other photo we got is called The Virus.
Yes. That was my short film. That is my short film. I created that during the pandemic based on Flappers Comedy Club. They did a 48-hour film challenge. And my topic was slasher movies. And since my birthday is Halloween, I grew up with slasher movies and I have a dark sense of humor. So it was so much fun doing this film, The Virus, only on my iPhone and laptop computer. And it turned out it won some awards in the film festival circuit, which was surprising. And I was a little like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. The Virus.
Another one for you, hilariously funny comedy show.
What is that?
This was there's a picture of you, and we'll send you a picture of this so you can see it. Hilariously funny comedy show. September 5th.
Yes. Yes. I do stand-up comedy, and that one was at the Comedy Chateau.
Uh-huh.
I have another comedy gig show coming up on the 27th at the Sunset Rooftop in Hollywood, and at the Ha Ha Cafe in early November. But yeah, that's my self-defense mechanism, my sense of humor, because you go through some things and you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh or you cry.
Right. You gotta laugh. Indeed. Indeed. Here's the last one for you. This one is called Neighborhood Scene.
Neighborhood Scene.
A Neighborhood Scene shows you looking very good. Always got a good smile there. Wednesday, 4 p.m. guest artists.
Oh, wow.
Urban Voices with this one. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, right now I'm actually joining you from the Skid Row History Museum and Archive. And actually, this is where I host an open mic every last Friday of the month.
Uh-huh.
And at the last minute, I had to do the Zoom from here, Ron, because I had an audition that I'm going to right after this. So anyway, in saying that, I'm going to show you the flyer for Urban Voices Project.
Wow.
And I started out as a guest artist with Urban Voices, and then I became a choir director with Urban Voices Project. Wonderful organization. I no longer work with them right now, but I definitely recommend supporting Urban Voices Project. But yes, I am also a musician. So I do play the piano and sing. So it was wonderful being able to work with them. And I wish them well. I hear they have a gig in Vegas right now. They are so busy. But Urban Voices Project, and Urban Voices Project, they have a Skid Row performance choir, but they also have music wellness programs as well. So it really benefits the community.
Got you. Are you still doing or have done the subway? Where you did the play there on the subway?
No, I have done that one episode I told you about quite a few years ago in Lamert Park area. And that was with Leslie B. Jazzin. And that was very fun, very fun. Yes. I believe it was two gentlemen of Verona. And yeah, that was so much fun. And I love Hassan. I keep in touch with Hassan. He sometimes drums at my one-woman show, which is called Justice or Just Me, The Bite. And it was part of the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and it was awarded the Diversity Scholarship Award for productions with powerful impact. And every time I do that show, even now, I like to have drummers open it up. Yeah.
Brenda, that's beautiful what you do. God bless you. Well, folks, you met a lady today who really does a lot for a whole bunch of people. Lorinda, please give us a number. Is there a telephone number they can contact you? You have one like that?
And also, I just wanted to just plug again. Yes. I'm in a play, Trouble in Mind. It's open now and it closes November 10th. Please come out and see it. And also this week, Thursday, you can check me out, Grey's Anatomy. I have a co-star role on that show this week. Grey's Anatomy, Thursday night, 10 p.m. on ABC. And if you miss it that night, you can catch it on Hulu the next day. If you want to just check me out on my website, LorindaHawkinsSmith.com. And there you can get a hold of me, see what's coming up. And I'd love to connect with you. Thank you, Ron, for having me.
My pleasure. Good. We'll get you back here again, definitely.
Awesome. Have a blessed day.
Same to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lorinda Hawkins Smith. Hold it, Tony. Yes.
Young girl, be true now. Be true. The boy, he really loves you. Really loves you. But don't do him wrong, or he'll pick up his shoes and walk and say it's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we bring you an American rhythm and blues band from Ohio. Now, the group was formed in 1970 by John Wilson, Charles Still, and Mark Saxton. They call themselves Sly, Slick, and Wicked. Today, we are extremely blessed to have as our guest a gentleman that I've known for years. Good guy, real good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome co-leader, Sly, Slick, and Wicked, John Sly Wilson. Hi, John.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing good to see you there. We have a little problem here. That's why he's just seeing me. We'll fix it later after the show is over. Well, my friend, where you been? Good to have you here. When did you and where you started Sly, Slick, and Wicked?
Well, we started in Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, we all went to the same high school. We were in the choir together.
Uh-huh.
And when we graduated, I saw Charles walking down the street because we all lived in the neighborhood. I said, "What you doing?" He said, "Man, I ain't doing nothing." I said, "Let's start a group." He said, "Okay." He said, "Well, who else we gonna get?" I said, "What about Mark?" I said, "Yeah, Mark's a good choice. He's a baritone." So that's basically how it started as I was walking down the street. And we started doing little shows. We had been doing talent shows in different groups in high school. And we started doing, little concerts, little shows in Cleveland, Akron, Youngstown, and then a guy named Kenny Brown, who was actually one of the co-founding members of the Bell Telephone, which morphed into the Dazz Band, Let It Whip. He told Paramount Records about us when they were playing in New York, and they flew an A&R guy out, and we sang for them, and next thing we knew, we were in the studio and signed to Paramount Records, and that's how it all started.
I found this picture. Tony, can you show me number 45, 44?
Yep.
Look at that.
Oh man, I was all but like 19 or 20 years old in that picture.
Wow. Thank you. As we always say, where was you when this record came out? Where was you?
Well, again, we were in Cleveland, Ohio, and
Yes.
we recorded it. And when I heard it on the radio, the two R&B stations in Cleveland was WABQ and WJMO. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I just sat there in disbelief of saying, I finally got a record out, because at the time Paramount only had two black acts. They had us and the Pointer Sisters.
See, wow. You guys worked hard. I see 2 years after the formation, Terry Stubbs replaced Saxton, and Maurice Rudis Jr. He became part of your backup musicians, I'm told.
Yeah, Maurice was a backup musician. In fact, we just got through completing not too long ago a movie called The Sax Man, which is about his life story and ours, and it's won 6 awards. And in fact, I was really shocked on Black History this month that on one of the stations, Steve Harvey was actually narrating segment by segment the film about Maurice and us.
All right. Keep it going. Good stuff needs to be heard over and over and over again. We're now in different times now. You hear a little hip hop, it's not like it was back in the old days. How do you feel about the industry?
I think it's taken a turn for going backwards. I like to call it R&B innocence lost. One thing that I prided myself on, of all the records and labels we recorded on, Motown, Polygram, Epic, I never never recorded a record I couldn't play for my mother. And I found that that's what's happening now, that the records that are coming out now, I wouldn't even play basically to somebody I don't like. The language, the content, I think is horrible.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we lost it.
Yeah. I think it's horrible, and I call it again R&B innocence lost. What's really interesting is that on YouTube, if you go on YouTube and say, like, for example, you type in Temptations, My Girl, but you put reaction, these young children, I can't say young children, but let's say these young people from the age of basically 16 to about 40 are now rediscovering, and what they're doing is that you send them a song and they do a reaction to it for the very first time. And 99% of these songs they have never heard of. They never heard of us. They never heard of Earth, Wind, and Fire. They've never heard of the OJs. They've never heard of these groups. And now they're rediscovering us. And what's really interesting, some of the girls who actually comment on these songs are saying, how come these guys are talking to our souls, our women's souls? He said, no wonder my grandparents and my aunties were married 60 years and had 40 and 50 kids listen to these songs. She said, that's what we need today. And this is not one person that's saying this. Mostly all these people that are doing these reactions on YouTube are saying this. So they're trying to get back to what we were doing with Ron, with you and I, the music that you and I listened to, that got us through not only our love life, but actually through life.
You really made a good point there, John. Very good point. Very good point. They don't call you Sly for nothing. There must be something different. What do you see as in the future that people will live with it? Others going to come apart? What do you think?
I think it's going to start. You know, they say what goes around comes around, but there's nothing new under the sun. As I said, people want to get back to real music. I do master classes and actually have a student who is really interested about what real recording is like. Right now, I'm producing a single on Walter Williams of the OJs, who's my mentor. And, you know, it's like I'm in awe because the OJs taught me how to lay harmonies. Barry White taught me how to lay tracks. And I learned the business basically from the Jacksons. And I think it's all coming back now to not how I look, but what is the content of the song and making good, clean songs. I'm quite sure rap and you know, that type of thing will never go away because rap is not 50 years old. It's over 80 years old. You know, I can bring rap up from like Louis Jordan. You can't get that no more from 1941 talking about, you know, people getting drafted and, you know, and the girls. You can't get the good guys anymore because they're in the service. So I think it's all coming back again to good music.
Good stuff. I see in 1973, John, you wrote the song Show Enough. And I understand that success on this record, Don Cornelius signed you guys up. Don Cornelius.
Well, no, please go. I'm sorry. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what happened was we were on tour and I wrote a song called Show Enough. It was about the breakup at the time I was married of me and my wife. And I took it and basically it came out on James Brown's label and it went to number 5 across the board and we ended up doing Soul Train. And I was really, you know, shocked and impressed and humbled that, you know, that we were on the show because, you know, we used to watch the show on TV or whatever and say, you know, when I get on there, I'm going to check out this girl. I'm going to check.
Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
World records are being set and broken all the time, and New Mexico definitely has its fair share. The world's largest balloon rally, the longest tram ride, the deepest cave, a governor that holds the world record for handshakes in 8 hours, and even the world's distance record for pasta being blown out of someone's nose.
So we'll be up here for 24 hours, basically staying up, cooking, and keeping it going.
What keeps you going?
Bud Light.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today acquired a film and TV bachelor's degree from San Jose State University and then quickly bolted back overseas to live in places such as Italy, France, and Africa, finding work as a TV segment director and cameraman. This was the beginning of a fantastic training and exposure, which made him the top professional that he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actor, producer, director, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Vasconcellos. Greetings, Mark, and welcome back again to the Actor's Choice.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Quite a few many places you've been. So where you been born? And where were you born at?
Oh, I was born in good old Fremont, California. Bay Area boy.
Well, we got just a few moments, but a lot to talk about. So what made you get into this business?
Wow. Well, it was kind of weird because when I went to college, I kind of knew that I already wanted to be in television and film one way or another. When I started at school, I was basically tech side, you know, so I was behind the camera and I worked with other filmmakers and directors and I was the shooter and had a lot of fun doing that. And then I went to LA to work on a movie with Shirley Jones and Len Cariou and Nancy Malone and all these really cool people. And someone on set say, have you ever been in front of the camera? And I was like, no, I'm a cameraman. I'm going to be a director, this and that. And she goes, I have friends over in Italy who may want to work with you if you want to be a model. And I was like, what? And so they sent my pictures over, and the modeling agency said yes, send them over. I thought I was going to stay in Europe 1 month. I ended up staying 3 years.
Wow.
Which was kind of crazy and fun. And when I wasn't doing the modeling,
Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
World records are being set and broken all the time, and New Mexico definitely has its fair share. The world's largest balloon rally, the longest tram ride, the deepest cave, a governor that holds the world record for handshakes in 8 hours, and even the world's distance record for pasta being blown out of someone's nose.
So we'll be up here for 24 hours, basically, staying up, cooking, and keeping it going.
What keeps you going?
Bud Light.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today acquired a film and TV bachelor's degree from San Jose State University, and then quickly bolted back overseas to live in places such as Italy, France, and Africa, finding work as a TV segment director and cameraman. This was the beginning of a fantastic training and exposure, which made him the top professional that he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actor, producer, director, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Vasconcellos. Greetings, Mark, and welcome back again to the Actor's Choice.
it's been a while.
It has been a while. Quite a few many places you've been. So where you been born, and where were you born at?
Oh, I was born in good old Fremont, California. Bay Area boy.
Well, we got just a few moments, but a lot to talk about. So what made you get into this business?
Wow. Well, it was kind of weird because when I went to college, I kind of knew that I already wanted to be in television and film one way or another. When I started at school, I was basically tech side, so I was behind the camera, and I worked with other filmmakers and directors, and I was the shooter, and had a lot of fun doing that. And then I went to LA to work on a movie with Shirley Jones and Len Cariou and Nancy Malone and all these really cool people. And someone on set say, have you ever been in front of the camera? And I was like, no, I'm a cameraman. I'm going to be a director, this and that. And she goes, I have friends over in Italy who may want to work with you if you want to be a model. And I was like, what? And so they sent my pictures over, and the modeling agency said yes, send them over. I thought I was going to stay in Europe 1 month. I ended up staying 3 years.
Wow.
Which was kind of crazy and fun. And when I wasn't doing the modeling gig, I found a production company that actually needed a cameraman and a director. So that's how I really got into directing, editing, and doing all that stuff. So I spent 3 years traveling the world, doing great things for them. And we just had a blast.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we told you he was a professional, a top professional at that. What are some of the roles now that you're in the business and been in it for a number of years? What are the kind of roles that you look for?
Oh, the roles I really love to play now are the antagonist, the bad guy, the troublemaker. I'm a middle child, so I'm kind of a troublemaker myself. But those are the real fun characters to play or portray because they're really deeply flawed. And, the more screwed up you are, the tougher it is, but the better the challenge. And that's what I like. So you really got